Hey everyone, it is day 36 of 80 of our 80-day obsession journey. So I don't know if you saw my live video yesterday, but yesterday was a special day in our program. So starting in month 2 of 80-day obsession, we have special days where we are able to change our diet to be able to replace the glycogen stores that have been depleted since we've been eating at a calorie deficit over the last 6 weeks. So basically what it is we are eating less calories than what we are burning. That is really helping people either maintain their body weight if they're already at their goal and our ideal weight, or helping them lose weight at the healthy rate. And when that's done, the glycogen stores, which is sugar stores, are depleted from our body. So I'm sure at some point you've heard of people who are, bodybuilders or working towards a competition, and they have like a carb loading day. That's similar to what we've done, except for we really don't have like an open window of just eat all the carbs we want. Everything's been still regimented. It's based on science and really based on each individual. So yesterday we all had a lot more carbs than we normally do, and we had a bigger list of foods that we could choose from, and we had more fruits than we normally would, and it just depended on what plan each person was in. The crazy thing, well, not crazy, but mid-morning I was so tired. By the afternoon I was even more tired, and I really contemplated taking a nap. Around 11 o'clock I asked my husband whenever he came in to eat lunch, I'm like, oh, let's go take a nap. And when I went to pick up the kids, I didn't close my eyes, but I remember thinking, because we have like a 25-minute drive to town, I remember thinking, like, if I just close my eyes for just a little bit, maybe I'll feel better. And by 9 o'clock, we were in bed. I was exhausted, and it all had to do with the carbs. And this is something that I share with you because a lot of people don't understand this. I know I didn't, and I'm still not, a nutritionist or a dietitian, and I don't know everything, about the science in our body, but I do know that carbs are needed for energy because carbs are really a lot easier digested than protein. And when that is done, because that turns into glucose, and that's what's used for energy. However, the problem is that most people have a very high carb diet, and people don't realize it until they journal their food. They write down their food. They don't realize how many carbs they're consuming. And especially because carbs aren't just in bread and pasta and potatoes and cakes and stuff like that. Carbs are in vegetables and fruits and anything you eat. So carbs aren't bad. It's just the amount of carbs and the types of carbs that you're eating that can create health issues, spikes in your insulin levels. And this is something that people who are pre-diabetic or have diabetes, they need to really be careful with. And I know from some tests that I've taken that the way my body works is I burn through carbs even faster. So I really need to make sure that I eat a carb and a protein together, and find a carb that's pretty high in fiber, and also pair it with a healthy fat like olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, or plain avocado. But those things help with my digestion and slowing it down a little bit, so I'm not just burning through it super fast. And so yesterday, even though many of us were so excited about being able to eat certain things that we hadn't eaten in the last couple weeks, there were some consequences. Yes, it was scientifically good for us to be able to replace those glycogen stores, but we were tired. I mean, and even today I feel tired. And you hear of that carb coma, the sugar crash. That's what we were all experiencing. And today, if you don't know what we're doing, is that we are filming the 80-day obsession program as we're going. So we're able to see and experience everything along with the cast. And so the cast members, they were their bodies were functioning well, like we had the energy, but our brains weren't working, and they were feeling what the rest of the test group were feeling. And so I hear this all the time, that people say, like, I'm so tired, I'm so tired, I'm so tired. A lot of time it's your diet. When I was eating really bad years ago, I would skip breakfast, or if I did have breakfast, it was usually something full of, bread, like a donut holes, a croissant, something, high fat, not good fat, not olive oil or avocado oil, or a good healthy fat that helps, but, fatty foods and high carb, a sugary drink, or a coffee with lots of sugar and cream in it. And I would go hours in between eating, and then I would eat another carb heavy lunch or meal, and then every time I would eat that, about 30 to 45 minutes later, boom, I would just crash, and I would be so tired because those spike your insulin levels up, and then they crash. And then what most people do whenever they feel a crash like that, they reach for something like a soda or a candy bar or more carbs. And so I went to the doctor at 25 years old wanting to know what was wrong with me, and they ran all these tests. He never once asked me about my diet. And that's the crazy thing, is I'm not downing doctors, nutritionists, dietitians, or anybody of that sort. But so many people put their trust in these people who think like, well, they're doctors or they have a degree. This is it. But I've ran into circumstances where the doctors didn't ask the right question. They ran blood work, and if everything looked fine, then nothing. And usually what happens is people start seeing and feeling the signs of their health declining, and unless they take charge of it, doctors don't do anything until boom, you have high blood pressure, you have high cholesterol, you are pre-diabetic. But the thing is, many times you're seeing the signs and just not stopping to realize it or take control of it, and then it's so serious that you're having to be put on medication. And there are great doctors out there. There are great people in this field that people that have weight or health issues turn to. But I've seen people who have taken things to their dietitian or nutritionist, and they approve something that had sucralose in it and soy in it, and there's health risks with those ingredients, especially if they're consumed daily, like these people have been using the product as. And so the thing is, do your own research, learn. Don't even take my word for it. Go out and learn about things, educate yourself. And if you're feeling tired all the time, the first place to look at is, number one, if you just had a baby, totally, that's probably the biggest issue. If you only get 4 hours of sleep, totally part of the issue. But if you're sleeping well, if there's nobody interrupting your sleep and you're always tired, and I'm sorry, when I was 25, I was way too young to be always tired, then do some research, log your food, reach out to somebody who seems to have energy, who seems to be feeling great, who seems to have the results that you want. Ask them what they're doing. And no two bodies are different, because I'll tell you, some people yesterday had no issues with this, and other people were like me and dragging. Everybody's different, but search out for answers. Don't ignore these signs, because if you are 25, 35, 45, you're not supposed to be tired all the time. Yes, everybody you turn to seems to be tired all the time, but everybody's eating this Western diet full of French fries and potatoes and pastas and very minimal fruits and vegetables and very high fat meats and very processed foods. So that you can't base how you feel on the norm by everybody else if they're just like you. I will tell you, you're not supposed to be tired all the time, and it almost always boils down to what you're eating, how you're eating, how much of it you're eating, the times you're eating. And so reach out to somebody and fix it now, because those doctors aren't going to help you until there's actually a problem. And many times these are the signs, and you can turn it around, and you don't want to live your life tired all the time. I think about, today I posted a picture of my son. Somebody said, wow, I just remember when it seemed like he was just born, and he really looks like a kid now. And I'm like, man, he's 7. And I think of how much time has been lost on, things that were not beneficial. And, I'm almost 2 years sober, and I think about those things. And it's the same thing about the health. You don't want to look back and say, gosh, I wish I had done things differently, because when it comes to time, you never get it back, and regret sucks big time. So anyways, today was day 36, and everybody was, feeling some energy, but also feeling a little bit, brain fog from the high carbs, because it does turn into sugar. But I'm glad to be back on point. As far as results go, my husband, I was gone for 6 days, and he was like, man, your legs seem tighter. He told me this morning that my butt looked taller. I'm guessing that it looked higher. I feel good besides the sugar crash, carb coma last night. I hadn't weighed myself. since last Wednesday morning, and then I left Thursday. I didn't weigh myself, and I really have just kind of made the resolution not to, because this program really seems to be more about we're seeing more fat loss. I can't say it's about this because we're in the phases of creating it. But my friend Sue Lynn, she really hasn't dropped any weight, but she's lost, over 20 inches. Pants that she couldn't even get up to her hips and now are up fully buttoned. So I'm not worried about my weight, but I was curious, and as I got on the scale today, and I weighed exactly what I did when I started. And some people might think like, well, God, that sucks. But I mean, I look at the fact that yesterday I had like double the amount of carbs that I normally have, way more servings of fruit than I normally have, which also turned to sugar. I've traveled. I'm in the middle of my female cycle. Sorry guys if you're watching this. And so I think that I'm doing pretty good. I've lost 5 inches off of my waist, or 4 inches off of my waist. I've lost, I think 15 inches total, if I remember correct. It's been a while since I wrote it down, but I feel great. I'm stronger. I'm seeing muscle. I'm seeing definition. My legs are tighter. And so those are the things that people get so caught up on, the physical side, but like, how do you feel? Because you can't put a price tag on that. I mean, you can look great, but looks fade, but I want to feel great, and I feel great. We track all of our weights on some of these sheets. So if you do this program, you'll be able to track your weights. And I went up on my weights every week. And this workout that I did for the first time last week was in a gym in North Carolina, and it was, struggle bus city. But today I was able to work through it. It was really a lot easier because of, I don't know where they are. The slides right here did not slide well at the gym in North Carolina, nor at my friend's house who I was staying at, because they had these rubber mats there and these just really stuck to it. But back on my carpet, on my gym, on my turf, it worked good. And so I got a crazy great leg workout done today. So day 36, we're getting closer to the halfway point. I'm super excited. I'm seeing crazy results from everybody. Please keep everybody and Florida area in your prayers. Several of our test group participants, including my coach, her sister, and another one of our friends on our team, they all are in Miami, and they're staying there. And so please keep them in your thoughts if you're watching this, because Florida looks like it's going to get hit just as hard as we did here in Texas by Hurricane Harvey.